y'all, I'm Teresa and this is my channel Sweet T Reads. Today I'm going to be doing the newbie, no that's not what it's called. It's the Booktube Newbie Tag. I have not read these questions yet, so I'm just gonna go off the top of my hat. That may mean that this video ends up being a little bit long and a little bit rambly, but I have a feeling that all my videos are gonna be long and rambly. So if you like that type of thing, you should probably subscribe right now because that's the way it's gonna be here on this channel. Okay, question number 1. Oh, before I get into the questions, just so y'all know, I will be, of course, I always will be linking things in the description of the questions, and I will try to find the original creator of this tag and I will link them as well, if I can. You can also find me on all my social medias, which are, again, linked down below. Just know that if you watch my channel, like, everything I talk about is usually linked below, so let's get into it. Question number 1 is, why did you start this channel? Well, if you saw the very first video I posted on this channel, you will know that I actually had another booktube channel before this, or at least an attempt at another booktube channel before this one. Yeah, it failed miserably. That is not on you guys, that's totally on me. I only posted a few videos on there and I was totally inconsistent, and just a lot of really crappy stuff happened in my life that it just didn't work out. It just wasn't the right time. So since it is now 2020, I figured, you know what, new year, new me, new booktube channel. So I wanted to do a booktube channel because, like most people who are on booktube, I don't have a lot of friends in real life. Well, that statement is true too, but even with the small amount of friends that I have in real life, none of them are really readers. And I don't really have anyone in my family or anyone around me who reads, at least not the type of books that I read. So I wanted to start a channel to put myself out there, become part of this community, and hopefully grow as a reader and meet new people, connect with you guys, share my love of books, and hopefully you can share your love back with me and we can read some really epic stories together. Question number 2. What are some unique and fun things that you can bring to booktube? No, it's what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to booktube? Well, something, I don't know if it's fun or unique, but I have a cognitive disability. Well, it's okay. I have Lyme disease, and Lyme disease causes me to have a cognitive disability. Technically, I have a chronic illness, but this chronic illness causes all sorts of issues in my life. So I don't know if that's like a thing to be like, yay about, but just know there are some times when I'm going to be on here that I might slur my speech a little bit. You might not be able to understand me, or I'll like mix my words up or something. It's just, you just gotta bear with it, guys. I'm sorry. I'll try my best to edit out the weird stuff, but just know that it's because my brain doesn't always work like it should. Some unique things. Well, for one thing, I'm 31 years old. I know nowadays there are a lot more older booktubers who are like not in their teens and 20s on booktube, which is super awesome, but I'm still not finding a whole lot of them. A lot of the booktubers on booktube, at least the ones that I personally watch, are younger than me. Even if they're like a year or so, they're still younger than me. So I don't know, I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun to come on here and maybe, not that like age brings anything, I don't want to say age brings maturity or wisdom, because like it totally doesn't, but just the fact that, like, I don't know, I guess it's unique about me is I'm not in my 20s. I am 31, and I don't know, I don't really know like how to answer this question. I read a lot of Christian thrillers, suspense, horror, so that's different. I don't know, well, I guess one thing that's kind of different is I don't read contemporary or romance, and I know like a ton of people on booktube read both of those things, so maybe that's a little different thing about me, is that I really love the freaky, scary, spooky, true crime, mystery, suspense, thriller type of books. This is kind of a hard question. Number 3 is, what are you most excited about for this channel? I think what I'm most excited about, honestly, is connecting with people. I'm really hoping that I can just grow this channel and get to talk with you guys, make some friends. I already feel like some of you, like fellow booktubers, are already my friends because I watch you guys so much, and like I really hope that like we can actually maybe connect, if not in like real life, then like in person, but then like over the internet or something. And maybe those of you who don't do Booktube or who I haven't found yet, it would be great to connect with you. I'm really excited for the community aspect of Booktube because I know there's like the dramas and all that junk, but there's dramas in any community you're in. So I'm just really excited for the camaraderie and the just the fact that people we can get together, and we might be completely different or completely opposite in every other thing in our lives, but we read the same books, and that's amazing. Like, I am so excited to dive in this community and be a part of it finally. Number 4, why do you love reading? This is kind of a loaded question. Okay, now this is kind of an answer that I think most people have given, but I'm just gonna say it because it's true, and that's escapism. And I don't know, it's a little different for me because of the fact that I am chronically ill. I am currently working on getting on disability. I don't have a job right now. I'm not married. Unfortunately, I still live at home with my dad just because I do not have the finances to live on my own, which is really frustrating at my age, I'm sure you can imagine. So reading is great because it allows me to feel like I can become somebody else, and I can step out of my little world of illness and blah and go on all these adventures that in real life I may never be able to do because of my physical limitations. I feel like I get to experience other people's lives, and I get to learn about cultures and communities and people that maybe I would never be able to without reading. Reading is just a part of me. It's just who I am. I've always been a reader, and I just love to be able to dive into a book and get scared by reading a thriller or a true crime novel, or get wrapped up in even though I don't read romance, but still, YA fantasy a lot of times have romance elements in them, and get wrapped up in that and just be swept away, and all that kind of stuff. Reading is just something that it's great escapism, and it's just a way for me to cope with a lot of issues that I've had in my lifetime, especially my illness. It puts a lot of limitations on me, and so being able to read about these characters that either are like me or not, but still being able to read about them, it a lot of times motivates me to do better in my own personal life, or just it's just fun. Reading is just fun. I don't know. Question number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? Now, this is a little difficult to answer because I have literally been reading since I was a kindergartner, if not before. As soon as I could read, period, I was reading. My mom says that I would pick up books from a very, very young age. I have always been read to as well, so I've always had stories in my life, always. So I can't really say there was a specific thing that got me reading because I always have been, but there are very specific, 2 specific series that I can remember from being a child that really got me into I wouldn't say getting me into reading again, but something that really stands out to me that I remember very fondly as a child are Animal Arc, which is a series all about this girl whose parents are veterinarians, and their clinic is attached to their home, and so it's her stories with these animals that come to the veterinary clinic. And for those of you who, well, most of you don't know me, I actually grew up wanting to be a veterinarian. That is still a very deep dream of mine, is to be a veterinarian. I know it may never happen. It probably will never happen due to my health, but it's still a dream. And to me, this was the most amazing thing ever. Of this girl who was a grade schooler, and I read these in grade school, so she's about my age, and going on all these fun adventures with all these different animals and getting to know the more scientific side. I mean, obviously it was written for children, so it's very condensed science, but the veterinary side of things and helping these animals and helping their owners, and I loved that series so much. And the second series that I'm thinking of that really bolstered my love for reading is Pony Pals, which again is another series I read. I believe I was reading Pony Pals when I was in 3rd grade. Yeah, it would have been 3rd grade is when I found Pony Pals. And it's basically just a group of girls who get together and love horses and they have ponies and they have all their own ponies and they go on all these adventures and they have to like help other people in need or help other ponies in need. And well, I personally never had horses. I don't even really know how to ride a horse. I've always loved them, and it just being able to read about these girls again who are like my age, going on these adventures, it was just something that I remember fondly reading these books as a kid, and they really didn't like inspire my love of reading, but really like helped push it along and help me grow in my love for reading. Question number 6 are, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I don't really have a lot of questions I guess I would ask. I guess the main thing would be like, how do you balance your time? How do you read these books? How do you come up with video ideas, I guess could be a thing. Like I know there are some people like Books and Lala who is constantly coming up with like brand new like ideas for videos, and I'm just like blown away by her creativity. And I feel like my videos are going to be like hauls and occasional reviews and tags, and that's like it. But I would love to know like, where do you guys get your ideas to do videos? What inspires you to create fun and different videos? And do you have like I guess it would be like, do you have like some kind of timeline when you like have your day planned out, like, okay, these hours I'm reading, these hours I'm editing, these hours I'm filming, whatever, like that kind of thing, if that makes sense, because I do not have the best time management in the world, and it would be really interesting to know, like, do you guys just wing it, or do you actually have like planned out of like exactly what you're doing when you're doing all that kind of stuff? It would be actually quite helpful if I could find out that information. Question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me personally, I kind of touched on this a little bit in the beginning of the video. I have chronic illness that definitely majorly affects my cognitive thinking. And this unfortunately sometimes means that I have difficulty with my words. I can still talk fine, it's just occasionally I get my words a little slurry, or I'll kind of like mix words together, which I know pretty much like everybody does this, but it happens to me quite often. You won't see it as much in my videos because I cut it out, but I do have a tendency to like trip over my words. So that is going to be hard for me to sit and talk when I'm having difficulty talking. I have difficulty sometimes reading critically. Now, before I got sick, mind you, I got sick when I was 15 years old, so I've been sick for more than half my life. But I used to be a very critical thinker. Critical reading was like my thing. Like I excelled in it. And I'm talking like grade school, middle school. I excelled in critical thinking and in critical reading. I'm not trying to brag because I definitely don't anymore. But that's just the kind of person I was. And so nowadays I have trouble with that. And so I feel like some of the challenges I'm going to have to overcome are being able to create more in-depth like book reviews, and really don't just be like, oh, I like this because the writing style was cool and the characters are fun and great, which is fine if you're giving a synopsis. But like, if I'm actually going to be doing like an actual book review, I really want to, just the kind of person I am, I want to like dive deep and pick it apart and learn how to like annotate, because I don't know how to do that. And that's something that I'm hoping by doing booktube will push me to be able to do this more. I need to retrain my brain to learn how to do this, because if I don't start now, like, I'm never going to learn. So but yeah, that I think is going to be the hardest part for me. It's not necessarily the coming up with content, because I always am reading books. It's more of the coming up with in-depth content, or being able to give you guys good solid reviews that aren't flowery and aren't just like a summary of something, but like in-depth stuff. Does that make sense? So yeah, I think that's gonna be a difficult thing for me. So for a while my videos may just be fun tags and hauls or unhauls, or like readathons, that kind of thing, until I'm able to really start learning how to critically think again. So I hope that's okay. I hope you can kind of stick with me and kind of come on this journey with me. There was a fuzzy. Come on this journey with me, and maybe we could learn together. If maybe you're someone who has never learned to read critically either, that would be pretty cool. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? Again, I kind of answered this question. I can't give you an age because I know for as long as I can remember I've been reading. I know I was reading in kindergarten, so I mean I was like 5 and 6 or 5, 6-ish in kindergarten, so I've been at least reading since I was 5 years old. Maybe before that, I don't know. I can't remember that far back. But a funny thing that I was thinking about the other day is I was realizing in my reading, I have a really weird like reading journey. I started reading like kids books because I was a kid, but my mom would read more advanced books. Like she read like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and those type of books, like to my siblings and I when we were very young. And so she would read adult books, or I guess would be now considered like middle grade or YA books when I was like young grade school. So I've always grown up with more advanced stories. I just couldn't physically read them, but like I could comprehend them when I was a kid. So I went from reading, I don't even know, I guess you'd say children's chapter books, because I don't really, there's like the group before middle grade. I guess it's children's chapter books. I'm not really sure what that group would fall into. But I went from basically reading children's chapter books or maybe middle grade to like big old adult books like that. Like I skipped YA completely. Growing up, you know, I was born in 1988. So when I was like middle school was like the early 2000s. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have people, you know, social media talking about like all these YA books and stuff. And I don't even know like if YA was like a big thing back then. Like I don't know because I wasn't reading it because I didn't know it existed. For me back then, I found Frank Peretti. For those of you who don't know, he is a Christian author who writes a lot of like paranormal type books. Really big, thick honkers of books that are just like intense and yeah, anyways, I found him, so I was reading his books, and I was reading a lot of like Christian fiction, but it was like more along like thicker, bigger like adult novels. It wasn't necessarily like young adult novels. So I went from like middle grade to adult, and then I found Twilight. I think Twilight was probably my first ever like YA books that I've ever read. I mean, that I can like really think about. I'm sure there might have been a few more here and there, but I was reading adult books before I was reading YA books. It's just like the weirdest thing ever. Question number 9 is, where do you read? And I would say I read absolutely everywhere except for moving vehicles. I get very, very car sick, so I cannot read in the car, which is like the most bummerest thing ever. But now that a couple years ago I discovered audiobooks, and I was like, this is like a lifesaver, because now I can listen to books when I'm flying, when I'm driving, which is nice. You can't read when you're driving, and you really shouldn't be reading while you're driving. While I'm riding in the car, when I'm taking public transportation, I can listen to audiobooks, because any type of movement. Airplanes, I'm usually okay reading a book, but I prefer audio just in case, because I just get I'm so easily queasy-ated. What's the word I'm looking for? Nauseated. I have very severe motion sickness. But if I'm sitting still, I'll read anywhere. I mean, absolutely anywhere. I don't care. My favorite places to read would definitely be in bed, and then also curl up on the couch, like in front of the fireplace. Well, I don't have a fireplace, I have a pellet stove, but whatever. But in the wintertime, like curled up with like a hot chocolate and like a blankie and reading in front of the stove is like my dream. I do love to read outside too when the weather's nice. Just grab a chair, like a lawn chair, and just go out and hang out outside and read. So yeah, that's my answer. Okay, the last answer is, what kind of books do you read? I know I, again, have kind of answered this a little bit already in previous answers, but I would say that my top genres would be thriller, suspense, mystery, nonfiction, specifically true crime and like veterinary animal related type of books, and fantasy, sci-fi. More so fantasy than sci-fi. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but I'm starting to branch into that, but a lot of YA fantasy specifically. I have not read a lot of adult fantasy, so mainly YA fantasy is kind of like my thing. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this tag video. I am really excited to be part of this community. Like I said in the beginning, I've tried before, it didn't work out, which was totally my bad. So I'm trying again, and I'm really hoping that this time I can connect with you all and grow in this community and become friends with some of you amazing book people out there. So if you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. That would mean a heck of a lot to me, actually, like a heck of a lot. And if you want to see more videos by me and maybe learn about the type of books like that I read more in depth, then subscribe. I don't have a schedule yet of like when I'm going to be posting. I don't know if I will. I'm just going to kind of post when I feel like it, but I'm hoping to post at least once a week. I cannot make promises right now because I just don't know what my life entails right now, but that's the goal. So go ahead and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!